Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Flagged Off podcast. This is our first episode, and I'm your host, Vinod, and alongside me are Gautam, Sashank, and Nirishan, who will be giving you their expert opinions in the football field. Hi, guys, how are you?
Okay, how are you?
What's up?
Okay, guys, normally we would all be very excited when a new football season begins, but I think all our excitement this year has already gone into the project restart. Are you guys with me on that, or are you all excited for the new season? With the same enthusiasm like always.
I think the Chelsea fan Gautam would be the most excited about the season because they have got 22 signs till now.
Okay. Anyway, so let's see how this goes on. And today, during the first episode, we'll be doing 3 segments. The first one is the transfer roundup. The second one is the game week 1 preview of the Premier League season. And finally, we'll have Fergie time, where we all give our predictions and see how good we fare. So, guys, to start off with the transfer roundup, before we get into the real topics, I think that we should have a small discussion on one of the most important transfer sagas that is always going to be there. What is your take on the Messi saga so far, and how do you think it's going to fare out, Gautam?
I think whatever happened, I'm sure all of you saw the whole Goal.com interview with Messi. For me, the way he came out, I almost felt in tears. Just not because I would say I'm a Messi fan. We all are at some point, but the fact that, like, understanding a footballer as a person more than just a play toy, because I feel like Barcelona as a club is an absolute disgrace for everything that he's done for like 20 years for them. All I see was just pain in that video. It's absolute disgrace. It's like how Drogba would like to say it. It's an absolute disgrace.
Okay, I actually didn't expect such an honest opinion, but that's good to know. So, Sashank, what did you make of it?
No, I agree with Gautam because the way Barcelona's the people at the top, the way they've treated Messi, they were never going to let him go easily because they put in a 700 million clause, so it's going to be tough to let him go. But he has a valid point where he said the president told him that he has to inform Barcelona before the end of the season, before the start of the new season, and he did that this time. Okay, and this is Barcelona to understand that this is a very unique situation where due to coronavirus, the whole project restart and everything, it's been different, and they should have given him some leeway. And he's perfectly justified to feel the way he's feeling because for the last 3 years, Roma, Liverpool, and now Bayern Munich, it's been an embarrassment from Barcelona, and they might win the league, even though they've been winning the league before this year. It's just not good enough the way they've been performing in Europe, and then the number of goals they've been conceding in crucial knockout stages. So it's just not good enough, and I think it's completely right that he wants to leave.
So actually, speaking of that, I think from the CEO or the president point of view, it's right. They're handling it as a business more than as fans like us or being passionate about the thing. I think it would have been okay if they had gone about it the same way, but with giving Messi respect to the situation and getting his feelings and giving a little bit of consideration towards his feelings and opinions on how things were. I think that would have been better, but it's just the way they've blown it up has been the issue. But Nirishan, your opinion on it? Did you really think at any point that Messi would be leaving this season?
To be honest, no. I don't think, even if he wanted to leave, I don't think they would have let him leave because, like Gautam said, right now players like Messi are seen as as a financial asset rather than rather than a footballing prospect. Because when you talk about Messi, that's like you have TV rights, you have shirt sales, all of that projects Barcelona as a global club. When you have Messi associated, any club that Messi goes to, you probably have like that. He takes the club to another level. So I don't think he would. I don't think they would have let him leave if they had respected his wishes, as in like Sashank said at the end of the season. If he had said, okay, I want to go, if they had respected his wishes, he must have. He could have walked away. But then the club, they wouldn't have done that because right now it's Barcelona have gone from a team to just being Messi. Earlier they had different superstars. They had more of a team, but now it's just Messi. You lose Messi, and I don't know whether Barcelona have any sort of identity or someone who represents Barcelona to the very core. Because everybody they've bought them from different clubs. So that's also the other issue. So if they lose Messi, they would have lost the identity. They would have lost all their money, and yeah, that's just my opinion about it.
That's true. Especially when I meant the absolute disgrace part. It's not just about the whole clubs and the upper management. I also mean to the Barcelona fans who are saying that Messi deserves all the bad luck or all the bad charm from whatever this whole desire for him to leave. I cannot believe actually people can think like that. He's done everything for the club for the last 20 years. And if it was for the money, he would have left long time ago. So it's an absolute disgrace. Those are the only two words I'd like to say about this whole saga.
But to sum up this, guys, I think I've already mentioned it. I just want to put it again once. 15 years back when we started following football, the first thing and only thing that mattered in football was the game, the quality, the player, and his commitment. Today, that is a very small part in the whole footballing scene today, and the commercial aspect has taken so much control over the game. And I don't think it's going to change, but I think that we were lucky to have experienced what that last part of amazing football emotions and feelings in the game was. And anyway, now let's get into the show. And I just wanted to get, Sashank, your opinion first. United have been really quiet the whole transfer window. We've been criticized. We've been frustrated. Everything has come out. The Van de Beek signing has calmed the fans, I would like to say. I don't know if I can vouch for everybody, but I think it's safer to say that. But again, coming back to the question, it does add a little bit of extra creativity in midfield. But with just Lindelof and Maguire as a centre backs to start, Bailly is still not trustworthy because of his injuries and his issues and everything. Our fullbacks are still not sorted out. Where do you think we need to invest in right now? Sancho or the backline?
It should not be either Sancho or the backline. It should be both.
It should be both, but which is the first thing that they should do? Because the Sancho saga has been dragging all the signings so far.
So, but the first thing doesn't matter because the Sancho thing, like you mentioned, has been going on for like 2 months. So they should have, got this deal done. Because initially what we were thinking was the issue was paying 108 million to Dortmund. But now recently with Sky Sports reporting, they're mentioning that the issue is with the agent fees and wages of Sancho, which doesn't sound right because, it's something that's surprising. But if they don't have a problem with the 108 million, release clause, then they should just, pay it and get on with it. But let's not get into the Sancho thing because, none of us know how it's going to end up. So there's no point discussing that one. But the defense, I agree with you. But when it comes to either centre back or left back, right now I'll choose the left back option because even though Lindelof and Maguire, they look shaky, they made a few mistakes, the overall record has been decent. They still, they conceded only like 38 goals in the Premier League, and there was, I think it's second or third behind Liverpool and City. So they had a decent season. But if you have that feeling that they're going to make a mistake at some point and that's going to cost you points, then that's a worry. Initially, there was some rumors about Upamecano, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So I think we can wait and, maybe in January or the next summer, we can sign Upamecano if he's available. But otherwise, I think the left back would be a good option. And I think with the recent reporting, Reguilon has been offered to United. If that is if that's the true news, then I think they should wrap that deal up because he might be as good as Shaw or even better than him right now. So I think that would be a good signing. But the centre back one, I don't think they're going to make a signing this season, Vinod.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But since you mentioned Reguilon, I don't think he's going to be there in the United squad anytime because as the window goes on and how clubs just go crazy, not knowing what to do because they didn't get what they want, they're just going to go try every possible player available at the market. So I'm not too sure, but let's hope that does happen.
You see, that's where I'll criticize Ed Woodward and these guys. Okay, they got the Van de Beek deal done within 24 hours, but these kind of deals, you got to wrap it up quickly. Otherwise, these other clubs come and pick them. That's what Chelsea did with Werner, right? Liverpool were waiting around. They snapped him up. Havertz, Real Madrid were thinking about it. They didn't have the money. They came and snapped him up. So that's what Chelsea have been really good. So United should learn a few lessons from Marina. Ed should probably take a few lessons from her. But I don't think that this is the reason I don't have too much hope for United because they don't have that mentality that we have to win right away. Chelsea have that mentality that do anything to win the next season after. That's why Chelsea over the last 15 years since Abramovich came, they keep on winning. So I think United should have that mentality.
Okay. On that point, Sashank, since you mentioned it and Gautam having a wave at it, so Gautam, coming to Chelsea now, I don't think we've seen a transfer window so effective and so swift like any club who has done this before. And the small thing that I would like to actually take out of that is you've invested in 7 players and they've all been again in the midfield and attack. And Chelsea has had a great season on those 2 fields already. So why has Chelsea not looked to invest in their centre backs or their full backs? Because you've not had a fully set person in the last 2 seasons. And with a Kepa incidents on field in terms of his performance and with the rumors that he might be leaving, why do you think that Chelsea have left that open? Or do you think that Thiago Silva is the only signing that is good enough to make a difference?
So, I mean, to start off with, see, Chelsea have had a great transfer window, but how I'd like to look at it is that you would have seen like a lot of spree transfers that Chelsea has done in the past. Like, the last time they signed like it's more than 6 players was, I think, back in 2013. But the thing is, like, this specific season, I feel so much hope only because of the fact that the number of players that they have signed and the quality that they bring to the table, and specifically in terms of potential and age. So if you see the Chelsea under 23 is actually our starting 11 right now in Premier League. So except for like and also in terms of strengthening in attack, I would like to add to what you have to say is that specifically if you see the last 4 or 5 seasons before our last title win with Conte, we have not reached that 80 goal mark in the last 4 or 5 seasons. So for you to be a title challenging team, you need to make sure that you are able to score at least a minimum 80 goal season. If you look at Liverpool and City for the last few years, they've been consistently making the mark of more than 80 goals. So last season we were at 69. We had a pretty good offensive season. However, like you mentioned, our defensive frailties actually were exposed. And in terms of not signing somebody defensively, to be honest with you, right now in the transfer market, the defenders are super overpriced as much as the attacking options. And the people we have right now, I mean, in our squad, we do have the depth in terms of centre backs. However, they have not actually stepped up to their potential. Like Rudiger and Zuma were actually considered one of the best centre backs back, I think, like few years ago. But then they have not lived up to that expectation. So, and what I believe this Thiago Silva signing would do is basically bring that winning mentality to the backline and just get that exposure from an experienced personnel. Because ever since John Terry left, we have not had this leadership figure. Yes, Azpilicueta is a leader, but at the same time, we have not had this leadership figure in the back four, especially in the dressing room for Chelsea. So that's why I have like mixed hope for this season. But at the same time, I believe that this development for future, like maybe we might not win the title this year, but I think it gives a good room for us to grow for the next few years.
Okay, Gautam, good to hear that. But I like it. Like you said, I think, yes, if Chelsea can outscore all their opponents this season, that is good enough at the end of the day, based on the potential you have. So let's hope that it does not happen just for the United fans' sake. And anyway, now moving on to Arsenal. Nurushan, ever since Arteta has taken over, we've seen a different dynamic and different atmosphere and a lot of shape in the Arsenal squad, as per your own words. And with the limited budget and the way Arsenal are functioning, yes, they've invested and gotten Willian done, Gabriel done, and even Ceballos done. But having that said, Martinez seems to be going off. Bellerin is being linked to PSG. Where do you think Arsenal stand with the current squad at the back? And what are you expecting from Arsenal before the window gets over?
Before the window gets over, like I'll answer that question. Before the window gets over, I hope that they do not sell any of their so-called first team players, because a big part of why Arsenal had a renaissance under Arteta was because of the team and the structure that he sort of set towards after the end of Emery. And Bellerin is the first team player. And like Gautam said, if you're going to like sell a defender, buying another defender in this market is you're just going to pay way over price over the value. And given the current market also is going to be there's going to be a lot of uncertainties which can also ensure make sure that the deal does not go through. So why do you want to lose a first team player? You might as well retain him, do everything that you can to retain him. And these the players that Arsenal currently have right now are people who have already played for 10, 12 games together. They haven't been much cutting or changing, so they already have that sort of sync amongst themselves. Now taking one player out and trying to bring someone else in, I think that will distort the entire the what do you say like the stability to the team, and that might be more detrimental. So that's the reason why I hope that we can hold on to our 11 and hopefully add somebody else like Partey, hopefully, but then or else get somebody who can fill in as a fill in as a squad member. That will also be good. So I just hope that we do not have any first team players leaving. Yeah.
Okay, let's just hope that happens for Arsenal so that we have another competitive season from them and we can at least see them in the top 6 with the teams now competing for the spots.
I don't
Okay,
think
guys.
Arsenal are going to pay 50 million right now. Anybody, they don't have the money.
So anyway, guys, I think with that, let's wind up with the first segment, transfer roundup, and let's now move on to the second segment, game week 1 preview. Well, normally we would be looking at different teams and different fixtures, but with both the Manchester clubs not playing this time, with Chelsea also having a relatively easy fixture, I think I'd like to touch on some different ones. So, Gautam, I want to get your analysis first. What do you make? So, out of the we're just going to talk about 3 games, obviously. So, the first game being Liverpool versus Leeds. Liverpool need to defend their title. That is what is going to cement them as a great team rather than just another one-time title-winning team. And for Leeds, the promotion has been talked about by everybody literally, and everybody is excited to see what can Leeds do. What do you think is going to happen, and where do you see the fixture going?
So this is going to be one of the most exciting fixtures, especially to see Marcelo Bielsa in Premier League, his first game, and especially against a top manager who's also a great tactician. And in terms of Leeds, like just how you said, they are here to stay. Leeds has been an established Premier League club for a while, and this break in their relegation and their gap in championship, I think they are here to stay. So they are also closing in on a lot of signings. I think they just got an agreement with Dynamo Zagreb, the centre back Guardiola. So I think they are here to stay. And for me, what I see is that this is going to be a very exciting match where, especially if you see Leeds play, what they do is they are very aggressive when it comes to high pressure plays. So it's going to be a very end-to-end game is what I feel, because of the fact that, I mean, it's going to be position-wise, it's definitely going to be Liverpool, but then I'm really excited and looking forward to this game just to see how Leeds shape up against the top Premier League side. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So just to finish off with that game, who do you pick to be the winner for the game, or what do you think is it going to be a draw?
I think it's going to be a tight game, but I'm going for a 1-1 draw.
Okay, let's see. So we'll know that in the next 1 week. So anyway, moving on to Nirushan. Coming back to the Arsenal game. So Fulham are hosting Arsenal, and Fulham being the second most favored team to be relegated. What do you make of the game? Do you think Arsenal are going to have a relatively easy game and easy first game to start off for the season, or is it going to be one of those terrible away days for Arsenal?
I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think Fulham are going to get relegated because Scott Parker's a very pragmatic manager. He's going to I've followed them a bit only when last season, as in when they won the championship. And Scott Parker's a sort of manager who's willing to go for a 0-0 draw rather than go all out and try to win games like what Eddie Howe or even Daniel Farke with Norwich used to do. So in that sense, Arsenal versus Fulham, I think he's going to set them up to to protect the goal, sort of put in a low block, which is something that I believe Arsenal have struggled with in last season, and I'm sure that they will struggle with even now. Hopefully, as the season goes on, they sort of they improve. But then I think it's going to be a sort of a dull game, in my opinion. But I'm just hoping that Arsenal sort of pull through.
Okay, so we're going to find out if that happens early, Nirishan. And Sashank, coming back to you for the last question. This is a very, very interesting fixture considering your affection for Sheffield and Wolves. So I think Sheffield and Wolves game is going to be really good because those two teams are competing for their respective spots in the upper half of the table. So who do you think is going to win and what do you make of the game?
This is going to be an interesting game just because Wolves, I think they've not had enough rest because they also played in the Europa League and they must be a bit tired. They lost their main right back, but somehow the surprising thing is they've not lost either Jimenez or Traore, which we thought might happen. Some club might come in and get them, which hasn't happened, so it's good for them. I just feel that they might be reaching the end of a cycle where I think it's the third or fourth year now where this team is together. So maybe they have 1 year left, and then there might be some changes to that squad. We'll see how it goes. Sheffield is still fresh; they've well rested. The only thing is they don't have Dean Henderson right now. That's the only change. I think they got the guy from Bournemouth, so we'll see how they cope up with that. Because I think Henderson is better than I think Ramsdale. But I think this is going to be one of those traditional Premier League 0-0 draws. The first game of the season, both of them are just going to have a feel of the game, how it goes. They're going to be solid defensively, and they're going to, counter-attack properly. So I'm just guessing it's either a 0-0 or 1-1, but I'm going with a 0-0 draw.
But just for the fans' sake, I just hope it's not a boring 0-0. It's the first game week. We need to have a lot of interesting games.
Wait, Niroshan, you think 0-0 is boring? According to Mourinho, 0-0 and 1-0 are the most interesting games.
But you said it's going to be the most boring 0-0.
The best game,
Okay, guys. So I think that's the only 3 games that we are going to talk about for the segment. And now we'll move on to our final segment, Fergie time. Anyway, to the viewers, since being the first episode, I'd just like to tell you guys what it is about. So Fergie time is one of the segments where we're just going to ask each of the fellow bench warmers to predict or give the analysis on something, and if they get it right, they're going to get a few points accordingly. And at the end of the season, whoever has the highest points, I'm sure we'll be giving you something special. And so let's start with the segment for that. Gautam, a very interesting fixture for you. I want to see whether you're biased or you're going to go with the proper analysis thing. Just give me your team that is going to win or the result, match result, and give me a scoreline, because if you get the result right, you get 1 point. If you get the scoreline right, you get 2 bonus points. So what is your prediction for the Fulham versus Arsenal game?
2-0 Arsenal.
Okay.
Arsenal win 2-0.
I love you, bro. I love you.
Yeah.
And Arsenal
Be a
clean sheet.
2-0 win. Yeah, and a clean sheet. Yes.
Okay. I think that's going to be the first ball prediction for the season.
Right. Willian scoring on his debut, huh?
Yeah.
That'll be a really bold prediction.
Yeah. London derby.
Okay. So
Willian scores, Gautam gets 1 more extra point.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll add that into the bag, but I think it's going to be safe to say that Gautam doesn't want the bonus points, so let's just go with the result if it works out. And Nirushan, we've been talking a lot when we've been preparing for our episodes, and you've called me a very, very biased man throughout the whole time. So I'm going to throw one question right back at you to see where you are. What is the result for the Spurs versus Everton game?
I think it'll be Spurs will win. I think it'll be a 1-0 win. A typical Mourinho game.
Okay. 1-0 Spurs.
1-0 Harry Kane.
Okay, I think everybody is leaning towards the obvious results or the safer results, but we'll know only when the games happen. And Sashank, to round it up, Sheffield versus Wolves.
I predicted the last round, and I'm sticking to my prediction, which is going to be a 0-0 draw.
Okay, guys. I think I did expect the predictions to go this way, but I'm also a little surprised that it actually came out this way without any hesitation. Yeah, Sashank?
Before you finish up, I want to ask you for your prediction.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Liverpool Leeds game. What do you predict for that? because you wrote both.
Okay, so I wanted to pick Leeds. To be honest, I wanted to pick Leeds, hoping that it would be one of those Lyon results in the Champions League. But after seeing the 7-2 result that Liverpool just had recently, I think it's just best to say that Liverpool are going to get the opening game. And I'm going to go for a close one, though, 2-1 to Liverpool.
All right.
Okay, with that, we have come to the end of our first episode. It has been a long journey to get to this point, and I hope it is the first of many episodes. Thank you to my fellow VARmers for sharing your thoughts and opinions, however shocking they may be. And once again, this is the Flagged Off podcast by the Bench VARmers. Thank you to our viewers, and do drop in your comments below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Peace out.
Okay.
Bye, boys.